Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of Beyond Ideas podcast. My name is Jorge Surya, and I'm here to talk today about letting go of the mind. If this is your first time here, like I've been saying before, this is a new adventure that I'm doing where I'm just like recording some episodes on some topics that I believe could bring something to everyone's life, to your life possibly, and some topics that have brought some value to my life. And yeah, and I just want to share with you that I'm not an expert in anything, so you're welcome to think what you want to think of this, to believe or not believe. And vulnerably, I just want to share with you that today I'm a bit tired and I'm not super motivated to record. I also not in a full like energy or power for this topic. I don't know why. I like the topic, but it's not like a huge thing for me. And it's funny, right? Because maybe this is where the journey starts also for me in this episode that you can see, these things come from the mind. And today we're going to talk about the mind. Like the name of the episode I'm thinking of can be letting go of the mind. And I can already notice how my mind is talking to myself. So welcome to stay, welcome to join along, tag along. And if you feel that you wanna support me, you can always subscribe, you can always like, you can always comment and share. And you know the drill, all these internet things to support each other, it would be great. And you don't have to pay anything. Okay, so today, talking about letting go of the mind. You already saw how my mind, my monkey mind I was judging myself for my state of like being tired or not wanting to record or this and that. But it is so nice that I am able to put words into my thoughts and not believe my thoughts. And this is something that I will explain how to get to this point of not believing the voice in your mind. And of course, this is many years journey, and you maybe are already there. But I think it brings a lot of value to believe your mind a little bit less. And for this, I want to do an experiment with you and imagine that for your life and or like for this little time that you are listening to this episode or for today, you can take this thought farther on. Imagine that what you said to yourself, imagine that your thoughts were not true. Just imagine that everything you thought of is actually not true. It actually makes no sense. And see how your day can go. Every time you think of something, it's like, yeah, actually, this is not true. I don't believe in that. I started the episode by saying, I'm tired. I don't want to record. I'm judging myself because I don't believe that this topic maybe can be very interesting or not, or I don't have so many things to say about this. So, me for myself, and as an example, I can just be, it's like, oh, yeah, my mind is talking, but is it true? Maybe not. So this is the invitation that you start thinking this way, thinking that that whatever you think is maybe it is not true. And so in this invitation, you can think about your life. We all have a life in a way, right? And there are different topics in your life that might be more important to you right now in this moment of your life. Not sure how old are you, but let's say some common topics. For example, money. How important is money for you? I'm sure money is important for all of us in one way or another because we need to pay our lives. But what do you think of yourself for the money that you have? So you have an amount of money. Maybe it's a lot, maybe it's too little. Normally, I think we think we have less than what we should have. Like we want more. Not most people want more money than what they have. Let's assume like that's your situation. So how do you talk to yourself when you think about the money that you have? If you think that you are not doing well financially, how do you talk to yourself? Are you kind of negative of like, oh, I'm a piece of shit because I don't have much money, or I'm a failure because I haven't been able to make 1 million or 10,000 or 500. Like, it doesn't matter the amount, but like this voice in the head, these thoughts that you may have regarding money, do you think that you are a failure? Do you think that you're in a good place in your life? And then most times the money comes from work and comes from the job. What do you think for yourself? What do you think of your life regarding the job that you have? Are you working in a job that you feel totally connected, totally passionate, like, oh my God, this is the best job of your life? You wouldn't change it for anything. If you are, I congratulations. I think you are one of the very little people in this world that have that opportunity. But I would say that many people are probably working in something that they may like, but it's not like the job of their dreams, let's say. Like, maybe if let's say if you like watching movies or you like watching shows, and someone came and told you, hey, your work is just gonna be watching Netflix, and that's what you're gonna do as a job, and you're gonna work 20 hours a week, and you're gonna get paid like triple the amount of money that you get paid right now with your job. And if you like watching Netflix, maybe you are like, oh my God, I'm actually happy about this job. I'm just watching I'm doing the same thing that I'm doing now, but I'm getting paid for it a lot of money. Let's say if you are into that, or whatever you're into. This is just a silly example. But yeah, what I want to say, or what I want to get to regarding to this episode and the mind and the thoughts, it's like, how do you talk to yourself? It's like, let's say you are not fully happy with your job. You're just doing it because you need the money, to survive, you need the money to pay rent and all of that. And then you say to yourself, oh my God, I went to university to study this career, or I didn't study, or whatever your situation was, and then I ended up in this job, and like, I wish I could quit, but I need the money. Or you also think, oh, I'm gonna quit, but then I don't know what job do I have. I don't know what's my mission in life, or whatever situation you are in. But the invitation here, the same as with the money, the same with the job, is just to observe how do you talk to yourself. And like I said in the beginning, imagine that what you said to yourself, or your thoughts, are not true. How cool would you be? Instead of thinking, oh, I'm a failure because I'm doing this job, and I know that I have so much more value, that I could do so much more for the world. I could have such a better job, such a better position, or have a company, or whatever it is. But unfortunately, you are in this situation, and maybe you are talking to yourself negatively about your life. And again, just for now, just observe that voice. If you have that voice, that self-critique, that judgment, that inner judgment, and the invitation for now is like, imagine that those inner thoughts were not true, at least for today. Just imagine that they're not true, that what you think of yourself for the money that you have, or for the job that you have, are not true. Now let's even explore another area, relations. Are you in a relationship? Are you single? Do you wish to be in a relation? Do you wish your relationship was different? Or you are in the best relation of your life, you wouldn't change anything, and you achieve the highest success you ever experienced in love? Doesn't matter. Like I say, imagine none of that is true. But with the job, how do you talk to yourself regarding your situation in your relationship? Whether you are alone and you are like, oh my God, I wish I was with someone. I wish I met someone. Again, I'm a failure because I haven't met someone, or because I'm not able to stay with one person for X amount of time, or I don't attract someone that I like for my life, or whatever your situation is. Or maybe you're single and it's like, yeah, I actually don't want to be with anyone. Doesn't really matter your situation. I want to also invite sort of the negativity of these situations. You might be in a situation where you're super happy, so good for you. Actually, believe your mind, no? It's telling you something positive. But maybe you're not. Maybe you wish you could also change some things about your relation. Maybe you are not 100% connected with your partner. Things are not flowing in the moment, or things in the future looks uncertain. The future is one of the best foods for the mind. The mind loves the future because the future has never happened. And if the mind wants to get energy, let's say like your mind, you need to fuel your mind like a car. Thinking about the future is the best gasoline for the mind. The mind is just gonna go like, oh yes, thinking about the future. I have like 3 more hours to just think about the future because I have no idea what's gonna happen in the future. And again, just an invitation to let go of your mind. Another topic, health. How are you doing with your health? Are you happy with your weight? Are you happy with the amount of exercise that you do every week? Are you happy or are you unhappy because you're not doing any exercise every week, or you're not even exercising for years? Are you happy for your health status, like what you're eating? Are you eating well? Are you cooking your own food, or are you eating a lot of delivery? And maybe that's not what you want, or you don't even have time to cook because you're working all day, or you're actually doing exercise but you don't have to cook, you don't have time to cook. Like whatever your situation is regarding health, the same invitation goes here. How do you think of yourself with your health situation? What do you tell yourself? How do you judge yourself? Imagine you are in the peak of your health of your life. Maybe everything is great and you have no problem. Congratulations, even believe your mind, maybe. But imagine you're not. Imagine there's areas in your life in terms of health that you wish for some improvement. You wish you did a little bit more exercise every day or every week. You wish you did some yoga. You wish you did some meditation, or you wish you ate better, more healthy, more vegan, or whatever it is. So yeah, again, just notice that you have thoughts, critiques, judgments. And the invitation for today is again, don't believe those thoughts. It is nice to not believe one thoughts, and I will explain you at the end of the episode, hopefully, if I remember why this is important. But anyways, another exercise that you can do, even if you're not able to not believe your thoughts, just observe your thoughts. Don't even give them a connotation, positivity or negativity. Again, in these topics that we talk about, observe how do you talk to yourself with the money that you currently have. Are you saying like I say, negative things of yourself because you wish you had more money, or you wish a better financial situation for yourself? And again, I don't want to repeat the game, but like all these thoughts that you're having regarding your different life topics, just observe your mind, because I think that's the first step to realizing. And maybe my heart is telling me right now that, I sometimes think that I should wait until the end to tell you some of the answers, but right now the answer comes and it's quite simple. I would say most of the things that I say or that I teach are very, very simple. In a nutshell, your mind is not very right most of the time. Your mind creates stories, like I was saying before, about the future, about your life situation, about your self-judgments. It's just a story of the mind. And so this is the thing, imagine your mind is this part. Like in the other episode, we talk about the ego. The ego is kind of the mind at the same time. So imagine that you are not your mind, that your mind is just an entity. Imagine it's AI, maybe your internal AI producing some answers, but you're not AI. You're not that. You're not your thoughts. You are just presence. You are just you. And many of the thoughts come in the form of future. So what's coming to me right now, it's this example that I think I love Eckhart Tolle. If you watch this channel, I probably talk about him every other episode. He's one of my main teachers, I consider. And probably he teaches a lot better than me. Not probably, for sure. So yeah, you're also welcome to go and learn from him. That's where I learn many things. But anyways, imagine you have a really bad life situation. Imagine that you are in prison. To put it like one of the worst cases, you're either in prison or you're homeless, not knowing if you're gonna have food tomorrow. But imagine that, yeah, let's say you're homeless. You don't know that when are you going to have food tomorrow, but you just ate. And you just ate a warm meal. Let's say someone gave a warm meal to you and you just ate. And you feel full, you feel you're not thirsty, you're not, like, your basic needs are met, right? If you were to just connect to yourself, to your body, would you say that you are unhappy at that moment? Personally, I would say you're not unhappy because all your needs are met. The moment the mind starts thinking, what am I going to eat tomorrow? Or I don't have a house. Or where am I going to sleep? Or I am missing this. Or I am missing that. Or whatever situation it is, that's when the happiness starts to come. The unhappiness doesn't come from the present moment because in the present moment, you are fully satisfied. Let's say right now, when you're listening to this video, again, like, your basic needs are covered, but you are unhappy because you have to go to work tomorrow, or you are unhappy because you're not able to do exercise and you're failing in that goal in your life, or whatever your life situation is. Understand that the thoughts are what brings a lot of this life reality. But the reality, if you were to think, reality is just the present moment. Reality is you breathing right now. Can you just one time follow the air that goes through your nose, through your lungs, through your chest, through your belly, until your pubic bone? And can you follow the air back for that one moment in that breath? In that one breath, and there is no thoughts, there's no unhappiness in a way. Now, can you do that 20 more times? Can you do that for 10 minutes? Maybe. But of course, I want to tell you what I think about meditation, or one of the ways that I think about meditation. If you are into meditation, then you probably know a lot better than me. I do it here and there for some years, sometimes more, sometimes less. I also think I do it while I live. But anyways, something about meditation, something that I learned. I don't know if someone taught me or how I came to this conclusion, but one of the things about meditation, or the cliche, is like to shut the mind down, right? Like I said, on this breath, you follow the breath and you do that like for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever it is. But of course, at some point, your mind is going to come and your mind is going to get you away from the present moment, get you away from the breath, and starts, following a story, whatever story your mind wants to create at that time. So here's the thing. The cliche is like, yes, stop your mind, meditate and stop your mind. That is beautiful. And if you can do it, go for it. And if you can do it for half an hour without any thought, you are amazing. I myself, it doesn't matter. Normally, when you try to do something, life does the opposite. So yeah, so here's the beauty of meditation. Instead of stopping your mind, which is the cliche, or concentrating only on your breath, and when you have a thought, it's like, oh my God, I have a thought. I need to shut the thought down. Okay, back to the breath. And I have another thought, and I need to shut the thought down because I'm not meditating correctly, like whatever it is. I invite you to do it a different way. When you have a thought, can you be able to observe your thought and say, oh, I have a thought. How cool. Like in the beginning of the episode, if I was meditating, I would say, I have a thought. The thought is telling me that the content that I'm going to produce today is not going to be very flowy, or I am very unsure of it. What an interesting thought. And if you catch my language or my irony, this is a way that I use to detach myself from the thought, because I believe that thoughts are thoughts. Most of the thoughts, especially the negative thoughts, may not be true. And this experiment that I was telling you in the beginning of the video, of like, imagine your thoughts are not true, it's actually a thing you can do for your life, especially when you're having reoccurring negative thoughts about your life. I tell you another negative thought that I've been having for many years, and that you are part of this journey in a way, which is recording the podcast for many, many years. Since I was like, what, 23 or something like that? 11 years from now. Yeah, this thing about like, oh, I should be a content creator. I should write a blog. I should be a coach. I believe I have all these talents. I believe I'm good at public speaking. I believe I have a lot of things to teach and all these things, right? And for so many years, having that, but not being able to record, not being able to do anything, and then punishing myself for not doing that. Again, I didn't know all this knowledge that I have today, but back then I was fully identified. I fully believe my thoughts. And I was just in a constant like negative loop, and I would be doing a job, and maybe I would be working for a year. Remember, one year I was working as a teacher, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting good money. I mean, it's not the job of my life, but oh well, it is something. And they also wanted me to raise me the contract and give me more money and more responsibility. And I'm like, oh wow, this is fascinating. I can build this and that or whatever. And then at some point I'm like, no, my life mission is to record a podcast and to share teachings with the people or something like that. And then I quit that job, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be 3 months and I'm gonna do that for sure, because I believe that the podcast is gonna save me, and this is my job, and this is my life mission. And I didn't record one single episode, and then I had to get another job because I had no more money again. So these examples I just want to use for you to show you that I also have this, and these are just thoughts. After this, let's say, inner journey that I began like when I was 30, I'm 34 now, but it grew more intensely the past 2 years. This is when I started to realize that my thoughts are not myself. So if you're able to understand at some point that all the thoughts that you're having about your life are not who you truly are. In fact, who you truly are is only true in the present moment. I believe it's really hard to say that you are happy and that you are happy for the next week. The only thing that you can say is that you are happy right now. And in an hour, you don't know if you're going to be happy or not. The same goes for sadness. You can say, I am sad right now, but I don't know if I'm going to be sad in an hour, or I don't know if I'm going to be sad tomorrow. So again, it's if the mind sometimes tries to make something about life, and your mind can say, oh, I'm happy with my job, but maybe tomorrow you go to work and maybe you are not happy for 4 hours in your job because something shitty happened at your job and you're just not happy. Or you're not happy for the full day tomorrow. But maybe you go to work the next day, the day after, and something really good happens in your job and you're happy. So it's really hard to say that you are happy with your job all the time or you are unhappy with your job all the time. There are moments where you are happy and moments where you are unhappy. But of course, the mind wants to create a story, especially, or at least in my case, and I believe in many people's case, a negative story of that my job is really bad because I am unhappy all the time. It's like, no, that's not true. You're happy sometimes and you are unhappy other times. All right, I think I got a bit distracted there. Yeah, it's so cool how this experience of talking to a camera alone in a room, but imagining that someone is listening out there, it is an interesting experience and also an interesting story of the mind. But anyways, just checking the notes a bit, I realized that there is another part that it's interesting about the mind, which is what others think of you. I think I would even, yeah, why not? I'm just going to philosophize a little bit about this. I believe in tribe. Let's say we come from nature and now we have all our needs met in society. In terms of like, if you want to get food, you go to the supermarket and you get food. Back in the day, you had to fucking hunt and shit. Like very more complicated than nowadays. I don't know if you get the analogy, but what I wanted to say is that what other thinks of you, I believe, was a tribal mechanism ingrained in ourselves for years in order to survive in the tribe. Let's go back into tribe times. If someone did a wrong action or did something really bad, and everyone around that person thought negatively of the one who committed a crime, for example, and they marginated that person. Imagine there was no law, and that person just no one wanted to collaborate with that person, and that person would go marginal, and that person had to leave the tribe. Then the chances of survival were very, very little for that person, right? In a way, in ancient times, we are social animals, and we're made to live in society because that's how our ancestors lived from predators and everything. And of course, then civilization came and we became more individualistic, but same with countries and same with villages. Like even nowadays, people from the same country try to fight for the same thing, and over other countries, like maybe not so much nowadays, but back in the day, of course, a lot of wars and stuff. But what I wanted to say here, and this little philosophical rant, is to clarify why it's important of what other thinks of you. I'm not saying that this is not important. What I'm saying is that sometimes sometimes your mind may create stories of what others think of you. And I would say not even sometimes, I say most of the time. It happens to me. I think it happens to everyone until you realize that this is not so important. The cliche, if you ask someone, do you care what others think of you? That person's gonna say, nah, I'm cool. I don't care what others thinks of me. I'm really self-confident. I don't care what others think of me. I would say that's a little bit bullshit. In a way, we all care about what others thinks of you, of yourself, what your mother thinks of you, what your father thinks of you, what your friends, what your girlfriend, what your boyfriend, what your colleague at work, what your teacher, like it doesn't matter who. In a way, it is important, or we care for what others thinks of ourselves. But many times, the mind creates a story. We do something in public, we do an action in public, we're in the bus and we sat a certain way. And sometimes we create stories like, are people looking at me? What are they thinking of me? Is that even important or not? But yeah, what I wanna get at with this is that, again, with this observation that I invite you to do today and maybe for many days, of observing the thoughts. Observe when there are times that you really care what others think of you, but those times is just a story in the mind. It's just not real at all because you cannot know what others think of you. That is not possible. We cannot read others' minds. And I wanna share this quote to you. If you haven't heard this quote, I believe it's a very beautiful quote. It's a fascinating quote. I read it one day randomly on the internet. Apparently, it's Winston Churchill who said this, or maybe not. I don't really care who said it, but I think the content of the quote is fascinating. So bear with me. It says, when you are 20, you care what everyone thinks of you. When you are 40, you stop caring what everyone thinks of you. And when you are 60, you realize that no one thinks of you. That is powerful, my friend. That is really powerful. Yeah, isn't it fascinating? I go back to my old self with my life, and I still have it. You still haven't reached 40, so maybe I still think a lot what others think of me. And maybe you are over 40 and you don't care anymore, or maybe you're over 60 and you realize no one thinks of you. Yeah, it's just fun to play with this quote. But yeah, it is so fascinating how much throughout our lives we care so much what others think of ourselves, and especially it's important to care what others think of ourselves, but most of the time it's the mind creating a story. What are people gonna think of me if they look, if they see my video? What are they gonna think? Are they gonna judge me? They're gonna think this guy's crazy. Like, what if I'm walking down the street and someone saw my video and they're like, oh, they look at me in a different way, la 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 la. You notice like the pattern of the thought just creating a story. No one cares. And that's beautiful. Imagine no one cared about you. What would you do with your life? Well, I'm sorry, but no one cares about you. And that is amazing, even if the mind cannot believe it, because the mind, the ego, everything revolves around me. I take the bus, I go into the bus, and everyone is looking at me. Everyone is thinking of me because I am so important. Of course not, right? Like the same. Someone walks into the bus, you look. It's like, oh yeah, cool person, beautiful, not beautiful, whatever. You judge for 2-3 seconds, and then you go back to your business. And like that's the thing. Most of the time, people are on their business, not thinking about you. So this is again another invitation, another very common thing of the mind to create a story of what others thinks of you. So yeah, interesting episode today. It started with a lot of self-doubt, and and it ends, I feel, a lot more energetic, I would say, a lot less judgmental of myself. I had some fun talking about this. And yeah, and maybe I come to the last point on like how to let go of the mind, honoring the name of the episode, even if we talked about many random things in a way. So yeah, I when I was writing this, I just realized pretty much two things that I've been talking about already a lot. So to let go of the mind, go back into the meditation. It's really complicated to let go of the mind for more than X amount of seconds or minutes if you're lucky. The mind will just come and come and come, because it's part of life. We wake up and we start thinking, what am I gonna do today? Do I need to cook this for breakfast? Like, what am I gonna wear? Clothes for work? Or I'm triggered because my partner did this, or I'm alone, I feel super lonely, like whatever it is, right? Like the mind is always thinking. So letting go of the mind, I believe, just don't let go of the mind. It's impossible. But anyways, you can change your relation with your mind by not believing everything that you think. Just start there. And how to do that? Observe. This is the invitation that I give to you, that I believe it's a really beautiful practice in life. Observe your thoughts. And when I say observe, it's this act of detaching from your thoughts. Imagine this is yourself. So imagine that you now separate into two parts: your living being, or your presence, or your stillness. The part of you that, like I said in the middle of the episode, you take a breath, you let go. And that part, when you take a breath and you let go and you have no thoughts on your mind, let's say you don't have thoughts on your mind for like 2 seconds. Well, that's one part of yourself. And then the other part of yourself, the part who have thoughts. So if you're able to just like observe the thoughts, and one way of observing the thoughts that I use a lot is to say, I have a thought, instead of going into the rabbit hole of the mind. Let's say you got triggered because I don't know, something about work. Someone said something to you at work, or at the classroom, or a common one probably in your family. Your father said something to you, or your mother said something to you, and you're just like looping through the same thoughts. Or even better, your partner did something to you, and your mind or your ego just goes like for hours and hours trying to find an explanation. Or there is a guy on the street that there's construction work in front of your house, and you deserve silence because you've been working hard and you want to go to sleep, and someone's making noise, and you're just thinking and looping and looping and looping. So even when you are in a trigger and that's happening to you, again, if you just say this to yourself, I have a thought, but I'm not my thought. Can you say that to yourself? Can you say right now, when you're having a thought, it's like, observing the thought. You have a thought, but you're not your thought. So this is a very easy practice that you can do every day. And it's a way of, diminishing the amount of energy that goes into your thoughts and that goes into your mind. So again, very, very simple per practice. And for this practice, what I invite is curiosity. Be curious of your mind. Not even judge your mind, not even go to meditate and be like, mind, quiet, quiet, quiet. I need to meditate. Please stay silent. No, 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 no. Don't do that. Do this. My mind is active right now. That's cool. I'm just breathing. Another thought. Great. A thought that is telling me that I should quit my job because they're not treating me well. That's a cool thought. All right. And just play this ironic game that I'm kind of playing right now. And I actually even do to myself. Sometimes I find myself like thinking and thinking and thinking. And then at one point I'm like, wait. What am I thinking about? I got really deep into a story, but this story is not true. And like I said in the beginning of the episode, if I was just like thinking, oh, I'm recording this episode and I have a lot of self-doubt and I'm tired and I don't know what I'm going to talk about and la 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 la. Like look at the beginning of the episode, I started literally saying that. And again, I stop 1 second and be like, oh, I'm having a thought. That's cool. Yeah, it's not a very kind thought. I have a lot of self-doubt. But yeah, this exercise of detaching a little bit from the mind and understanding that thoughts are just thoughts. Thoughts are not truly real most of the time. The only real thing is the present moment in a way. And if you don't believe me, please don't believe me. Go watch Eckhart Tolle. Go read his book, The Power of Now. Maybe he tries to convince you that the only true thing in life is the present moment. But yeah, I will try to convince you as well. Wherever you are right now, listening to this, wherever, it doesn't really matter, sitting down in the computer at work, running, like wherever you are listening to this right now, the only true thing is that you are listening to this right now. The only true thing is the next breath that you take. The breath that you already took doesn't exist anymore. And the breath that you are about to take, it hasn't happened yet. The only thing that happens is the breath that you're breathing right now. That's it. So if you're thinking of what you're going to do after, if you need to cook dinner, if you need to cook lunch, or if you need to prepare something, or talk to someone, or whatever you need to do after this, listening to this part that you're listening right now, that is not real. That is something that may happen or may not happen. And whatever you did before listening to this, it already passed. So, again, it's like a mind game. Here, we're not all fully enlightened nirvana people, Buddhist. We're just not. We're just humans. We're just like normal people living life. We have things to do. We have our jobs. We have our problems, relations, health, like whatever it is. I'm not preaching to become enlightened. I'm just saying like these little things help a lot. And I say this because I do them because it has helped me a lot to reduce the amount of stress that I have in my life, reduce the amount of triggers. And again, and if you watch this journey, I will talk about this in many different shapes and forms. Like I've been talking about the ego in the second episode, or the inner child, the father wound, different kind of wounds and all of that. But again, today is about letting go of the mind, and this is the invitation. Very simple thing you can do. Just be curious of your mind, observe your mind. I'll say it another time the way that I say it. I have a thought. Cool. It's just a thought. And these say that for any thought that happens to your life. A very deep, painful thought that comes often to myself when I was talking about the podcast, and maybe you connect with this one, not because of the podcast or creating content. Maybe you want to create content and you also have it, or it doesn't matter if you don't, but this thought of like, what is my purpose in life? Am I fulfilling my purpose with the job that I'm doing? uh and to you, like, what is your purpose in life? Are you fulfilling your purpose with the job that you're doing? If you have these thoughts, sometimes this is a very beautiful thought for the mind, but is it real? Do you feel like you're doing that today, or can you even get there? Who knows? But it's just a very nice example to observe the, I don't know how to say in English, but like when something is not concrete, abstract, the abstractness of the mind and how abstract the mind can be, and sometimes how much energy that can take in you. But yeah, anyways, I think again, I always end up this way. I could talk hours about this, and I also don't want to repeat myself all the time. I think I left the tank empty on what I want to say about this topic, and probably I will talk about this topic another day in another form or the other. So yeah, I want to say that I love you, that I'm super grateful for you listening to this episode, for you giving your time to yourself, not to me, because you're not doing anything to me. I'm here recording in front of a camera. Who cares? But this is you're doing for yourself. If you were interested, or if life made you watch this video, it was for a reason, and maybe you learned something. Maybe you can take with you this cool thing of like letting go of the mind by just observing the thoughts and being curious of yourself. And I say this because life is very easy, and life even gets easier when you can do this practice. So yeah, hope this brought you some value somehow, somewhat. And if it didn't, I also celebrate you. Thank you so much for your attention. If you feel that, yeah, this was cool, that you want to follow my journey, or that you want to help me out somewhat, you can subscribe, give a like, comment, share. You know the drill, this internet thing. But yeah, again, thank you. I also want to share that this was fun. I was very low on energy at the beginning of this episode, but now I feel super joyful and grateful for doing this, and doing this for myself, to be honest. Of course, I think of you, whoever you are. I think that maybe someone one day listens to this, maybe not, but again, I also do this for myself, to show myself that I can do this. And yeah, and it is a beautiful journey. Let's see where it goes. Let's see until when it goes, or what's gonna happen. Just thoughts, just mind stories. I cannot know. All I know is that right now I feel nice, and that is beautiful. So yeah, thank you so much. I wish you a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, a wonderful whatever. And especially, I want to remind you of one very important thing. Just take a breath. That's all. You don't need any more. You don't need anything else. Life is great. Just remember this one, the breath. That one will never fail you. Doesn't matter what life situation you are in, the breath is all. All right. So thanks again, and I hope to see you another time. Bye.